Okay, so once again, good morning to everyone. Yeah, so this is where we just left in the previous class, so we can continue from here. Yeah. So we have already finished our TRC, that is tuple relational calculus. So now let's move on to DRC. Right. The next topic, that is domain relational calculus. Okay. Right. So understand, you should be, having an idea on this one, right? What we are talking about, but we have talked about TRC is in that is tuple relation calculus, right? If you remember, we have, done some operations over tuples. We have tuple, tuple variable, right? That's in tuple relational calculus. So in domain relation calculus, there is something that has to deal with your domain. That is what your column attribute here, right? So in TRC, we used a variable that range over some tuple in a relation, right? But in DRC, we use the variable that take their values from the domains of attribute rather than the tuples of relation, right? So, okay, what should be the generalized form for our DRC? We have seen about DRC, right? So any DRC query is of the form, right? Again, we have some form that is what, let's say D1, D2, and so on till Dn. This is our first part. It's very similar to your TRC, right? Then we have some function, and that's what D1, D2, and so on till Dm, right? And again, yeah, m should be greater than equal to n here, right? So these D1, D2, and so on till Dn, what are these? These represent your domain variables here, right? We had tuple variables, but now in DRC we have these as your domain variables. And this f of d1 d till dm represent your formula composed of some atomic formulas, right? So this is the same definition that we have already seen in TRC. The only difference is we are working now on the domain of variables. That's your attribute, right? Okay, so without wasting time, so let's start solving the question here. How we will write, for example, let's take the student table where we have SID and so forth, right? So what actually we want is, for example, I want to find out, or say I want to retrieve SIDs, let's say with A's greater than 19, some is, right? So we know what's the relational algebra. It's very easy for us, right? It's more or less fun for us to find out. Probably it should be A should be greater than 19 and simply project what SIDs. Right. Now TRC. Let's revise this one. How we will write the TRC for this one, right? Okay. So there is something. Let T be my tuple variable, again TRC, that belongs to the student table, and I'm saying that T dot A's should be greater than 19. Yeah, that's fine. And I want to reflect the SID. So probably I'm storing the free variable, that's capital T equals to say T dot SID, and I'm going to reflect it here. That's it for your TRC, right? Understand now for DRC, how we write the DRC queries here, domain relational calculus. See, I have taken the table and let me rewrite this. That is student relation. We have SID as name and age. Fine. See, what we actually used to do in DRC here is we, let's say, give the name to every attribute here, right? New name. For example, for SID, I'm saying that capital I is there, right? For S name, it's capital N, for example, and for age, let's say A, capital A, right? So with the help of I and A, I can, use the original attribute SID, S name, and age, right? Now see, the method quite similar with this one. The only difference is we have taken new variables name, I mean the attribute name specifically, and then we have to, formulate the query using these only, right? See now here how I will write. We know that, I mean I and a, these belongs to what? Student table, yes or no? So let's write this first, I comma n comma a, right? And then store in this symbol, right? And this belongs to what? Student table. This is what, right? And see, our query was to retrieve those SIDs whose age is greater than 19. Age is pointed by a, and a greater than 19. And what we want? SID, that is what I. So for example, I can write I here. This is my DRC query. Quite easy. Yes or no? So the thing is, it's very similar to TRC. The thing only make changes here is we are using the attribute, new attribute name, and then following this kind of similar procedure for writing DRC, right? It's very familiar with DRC queries. Okay, I hope you have understood. Now let's take an example and try to solve using quantifiers, right? How the quantifiers comes into when we talk about DRC queries. Okay, so let's take our regular example that we are continuing in the very beginning of relational algebra. That is what your student table, right? We have SIDs and all informations as it is. I'm just writing. Okay, so again, yeah, we need to write the DRC. So let me rename them, right? Okay, I'm just writing here the renaming part. Uh, this is what how I have renamed them. This is for my convenience. It's not any syntax for these questions. It means what SID will be pointing as name, capital N and capital A for age. In the same, let's say C as for CID and C name, let's say you can give any name of your choice. Probably I'm giving CN here, and then capital I for instructor, right? And for this part, let me give SE, that is SID is for enroll, and C, E, and let's say capital F. Right? These are the the name that I have given, for example, right? Okay, now let's start on queries. Let's do first query. That is what it asks you to retrieve SID of those who enrolled. Again, let's say in course, some course whose let's say course ID is equals to some value. For example, let's say C1. Right. So we need to retrieve the SIDs here, right? SID of those, probably SID belong to student only, who enroll in the course having ID, this one, right? So firstly, we can write the relational algebra query here, right? So again, what tables we want? SIDs, that's what here. And then we need to have the CID, that is what from enroll table we can have. So between student and enroll, right? So let's say the student we have, probably we have the common attribute as well as ID. So we can do the natural join with your enroll, right? So this is what we have already very familiar with. And select what? Those rows in which CID equals to C1, right? From this one. And probably we have done the natural join. We have selected the rows. Out of those rows, we can project what SIDs easily, right? So we have done this relational algebra query. I hope, I mean, you can write the TRC query as well. Okay, let me just frame it for you so that with the help of TRC, we can write DRC at the same point of time, right? Okay, so how TRC will look like? Again, we know for TRC, we have more than one table, then we need to give the name to the tables. I'm writing that like there, for example, there exists some T1 that belongs to student table, fine. And there exists T2 that belongs to what enroll. This is what we actually want, right? And We need to do the natural join on with on what attribute? SID, right? So T1 dot SID should be equals to a T2 dot SID, right? Very good. And now what we actually want is from enroll table, we need to have the CID whose value is equals to 1. So what that T2 because that T2 belongs to enroll dot CID equals to C1. And what we actually want to project? SIDs, right? So I'm just writing the free variable that is T equals to T1 dot SID and reflecting T1 here. That's it. Easy one, right? So now write DRC query for the same. DRC is again easy, right? It's not difficult. If you have, these things are going in stepwise order, right? So if you know relational algebra, right, and by having a small amount of practice, you can easily write your TRC query, right? And again, at the same point of time, if you have sufficient practice, amount of practice for your TRC, DRC is very easy. You can easily frame in the same way, right? Okay, see now for writing TRC. Okay, again, also we have seen, right? I mean, when we did the TRC, there can be more than one method to write any TRC query. The same goes for DRC as well, right? Okay, see now, see how I'm writing. There exist, we have used there exist. Okay, fine. So there exist what, let's try to find from a student table first, right? In the student table we have the name of attribute as S and A. See, we need to retrieve, keep this thing in mind, a very small change is there in DRC. What we want to project here, that is what, from the student table, we want to project the SIDs, right? So what we actually want to project from the table, don't include that attribute with there exist. This is the only change. Again, I'm repeating, the attribute that you actually want to project here, that you actually want to reflect as a part of output from that particular table, don't write the name of attribute here with their exist. With their exist only. I'm just saying. I want SIDs. That is from the student table. Yes or no? Right. And now here, I'm just writing this part. For example, I'm just computing this part in terms of DRC. Right. I'm writing there exist what N and A because I want to reflect S here. So I'm not writing S here. I'm writing NA. Right. And then bracket, and now I'm writing S comma N comma A belongs to student, right? This is what I'm just writing here, right? And understand, and there exists what I want, enroll table, right? There exists this part, right? Now I can write this complete part because I have already written from where I'm going to take the SID value, that is from student table, right? If I will be getting the SID value or some, and under some scenario I have to reflect the SID's value from enroll, then I will probably not writing this SID here. But right now I want to retrieve from student table, so that's why I have just left out this one here, right? So now about enroll table, what's attribute we have? SE, CE and F. So SE, CE and F, right? Again bracket and write SE comma CE comma F belongs to enroll, right? And now write the conditions here, right? We have written the attribute for both of the table. Now we are doing the natural join, right? Now to write the condition of the joining, use the name of attribute here, and that's what S equals to SE. Yes or no? Because we want the SID should be equal both the tables. So that's why S equals to SE and CE. See, this course ID, this should be equal to CE. This should be equal to what? C1. Right, that's it. Bracket close for both. And then what we actually want to reflect here? S. Write this in this way. So this is what the TRC is there, right? So the important point here is you need to remember whatever we have to print here, it should not be here. Here means from any table that you are actually writing, right? If we were looking to reflect this part, for example, right, then we will not be writing this one here, we will printing this one here, and this S will be written here in the way, right? So this is what you need to take care of the query part. Also, I mean, in the book, right? In the book also, in some book probably you will be finding some other syntax as well. They have just written in the way, in the format, right? And what's that? Okay, let's writing with this some method too. Yes, Rakshit, ask, unmute.
सर अगर हमें सारे रिकॉर्ड्स
English, in English,
कराने होते
ask in
तो
English.
अगर सर if the query was retrieve the records all the students records those who have enrolled in course ID C1 मतलब SID
Yeah,
name as well as their age
yeah.
then will there be NA2 मतलब there
No,
won't be NA.
that's not required then. Probably you will just keep writing this one as we have seen in the previous example. Right, let me show you again. In this one here, we haven't used any there exist. Right. So simply instead of this one here, if I want to retrieve the complete record, I can write here I, N, and A. There is no worries. If I'm writing this one here, it means what? I'm just retrieving every record here. Right. So if you want to project everything from here, you start writing from here, right? Start from this one. But again, you need to write there exist, constraint for this one here, right? So the thing is, if you the concept remain the same, if you are projecting everything here, right? So then all the attribute which are present here, you will not be writing here, right? So this example we will see, and more example we have. I mean, this thing you will be having more clear in this method too, if you will see this one, right?
Okay sir, thank you.
Yeah. See how and what's the point of difference is there in method two, and there is one more tricky method for us. We can understand, okay, right? Understand so far. So again, I'm writing the same thing so far. Let's say there exists NA, but right now what I'm just writing here is understand S comma N comma A belongs to student. That's fine, right? And now see, there exist directly I'm writing SE CE comma F belongs to enroll. It means what? I mean, when we have this scenario, when we are including all the attribute, probably you can just skip this part and then you can directly jump over here and then write this enroll function, right? And the rest of the things remain the same. C equals to C1. Right. So this is what you have understood. So in the books probably you may find the queries written in this format as well, right? Okay. uh, More or less, let me write one more method here. See, what here I'm doing is, see, there exists an A again, but the change that I'm doing here is, see, belongs to student. That's fine. And there exists F. Just let me know if you have any doubt in this one. See, I'm writing the query. That's it. See how optimized this query is. Very small query. See, we started from here, right? And we end up with writing only 2 lines. See, okay, and try to understand now what actually you've done here is, see, there exists this one. I'm talking about this part here. I have S, right? Now in this enroll table, I haven't written SE here. I have directly used this S. It means what? Both of this table since should have the same attribute, yes or no? So the condition that I used to write S equals to SE after this one, I have directly specified here. So it means what? They have the join, natural join between different tables over the same attribute, right? The second part is what? CE that we have written, right? This one CE. So CE equals to C1. I have directly written this value, because this value is your fixed value. Yes or no? This value is fixed. This value should be same as this. But what about this f? F is for what? Phi, as per the enroll table is concerned. F is for phi, right? So I have written there exists f now, and this f. So probably the value of f may change. Yes or no? The value of f may change. This will not change. Why? Because our query is on C1, and this should be same as this. So there exists some f, right? So the f values may change, so that's why we have written it here, and this belongs to enroll table, right? So this is how it's an optimized query. It's a more or less tricky here, right? And yeah, this way we can write. Okay, you should know this one. You should understand, I mean, why we are using there exist here. It's a logical thinking. Why I'm using there exist this one here. Why I'm not using this one here, I have just told. But why actually we are using there exist part hit here, right? And again, you should know why I haven't used there exist here. Yes or no? So this is what you should know, and you should understand. Let me just give you a hint over here. See, the thing is, actually this is easy, and I mean, this is what, if you will try to think and visualize for this part here, you will probably get the answer. See, what's the use of there exist? Answer is inside this one. What's the use of this? This is what quantifier, right? There exist is what your existential quantifier. So what it means here, right? There exist means, I have already told you actually, in the table, when we are retrieving the attributes, say the tuples here, not the attribute, tuples, right? So when we are working on the tuple, right, and what actually the scenario is, when we want to work or say check every tuple over here, certain over some condition, right? I'm writing there exists x such that x greater than 10. It means what? It will check for all the tuples here where we have the x and whose value is greater than 10, right? This is what, for that purpose we are actually doing over here, right? Let me tell you again, when we are writing there exists t1, for example here, or even here there exists an a. Why I have excluded it from here? Because at the end we want to project all the s values, not from this one here, but from here, because these s values are the selected values which are selected based on the conditions. Here when I write here there exists an a, it means what? I'm checking over the condition of all the attribute. I mean, for all the attributes where I have n and a, right? All the attribute I am going to check it here, right? It doesn't mean like I have excluded s from here, but s values are there. The values which are being reflected, right, are written here, but the selection of those values are based on these conditions, not from here, right? So na, there exists na means I am checking the condition over these attribute n comma a, and for every attribute I am going to check the condition. I not required to check the condition over s here, because I know those s values will be only those values who are going to have the values from here. I mean, if I write s here, it's not so I mean wrong, right? But it doesn't make any sense, right? Because I want to retrieve sid whose, let's say sid whose value is s1, and s1 equals to s1. I mean, if I write s here, probably some ID will be there s1, and whose values will be again s1 equals to s1. So it's a kind of, useless comparison, right? So that's why we generally used to exclude those s values which are existing in the table from where we actually want to retrieve, right? But why there exist? Because we want to retrieve from every table. We actually want to check out every, every tuple. Sorry, we actually want to check out every tuple. For that's why we need to have to include there exist here. right? So probably you will find out, and see, there exists more or less time this it should be every time whenever we are having more than one table, right? We need to have a comparison between more than one table. Then obviously you will see like almost in every cases we will be using the quantifiers here, right? Here in this case we were having only single table, right? So simply directly we can write down here all the attribute belongs to the table, and these values are greater than 19. So project probably any values you can just check it out here, right? So I hope you have understood. Still, if you have any doubt, you can just let me know. Any of you, those who have any doubt, can just unmute yourself and ask. Okay, this one, just try to follow this method. This is the tricky one, and probably more effective optimized query that we can do. Okay, I mean there will be nothing like we haven't covered, right? And if uh, you find out the things are going to complex, you're not understanding, you can just let me know, right? Okay, what's the time? If we can solve one more query. 5:19. Okay, I have a lot of examples. Okay, let's cover one more. We need to retrieve S name of students, right, who are enrolled in course, let's say taught by Korth. Let's take Navathe. Every time we are taking Korth, let's give a chance to Navathe as well. Right. Okay. So what should be the relational algebra query? I mean, everyone, it should be your, it should be known to everyone. You should be able to, right? So, but we need S name. That is probably we are going to get from student table. But before that, we are going to find the courses stored by Navathe. Navathe's introduction, the information of Navathe is will found in the course table, right? That's the instructor. So definitely we need to have the course table inclusion. And at the same point of time, we need to have the um, enroll table as well. So in this example, we have to use all the three tables that we have, right? So first I'm gonna find out the SIDs. The relational algebra query, probably you should try to write, right? So first let me try to find out the SIDs of those who are enrolled in some instructor, say Navathe, right? So I'm gonna write enroll. There is a natural join, but I will select only those courses in which instructor is equals to Navathe. Navathe or Ullman, you can just write any based on the ask scenario. And I will project SIDs. Right, these are those SIDs of student who are enrolled in the course where instructor is Navathe. Right now, I need what S name, right? And for those, I need to have a natural join with student table, right? From the student tables, I will do natural join on what SID, because this is common. And after performing the natural join, I can project S name. These will be only those S name of the student who are enrolled in the course taught by Navathe. Right. So this is the relational algebra query. Now, I'm just giving a chance to you, all of you, to write the TRC. Let me write the DRC query directly. There is just lack of time. Okay, see, we need to give the rename. Probably we have already given the naming part. We're going to use the same, right? So let me write on a new page so that you will be able to understand. Can you see that? Okay, let me write here. Okay, so DRC query, right? See, you have understood the question, right? So we need to retrieve S names. See now. Okay, let's start. Probably what we actually want N. right? We need S name from which table? Student table, right? So let me write exist, there exist, but SA will reflect N, right? Now SNA belongs to what? Student. Yeah, good so far, right? Now see, and let me go and go back and write the query with the previous one. I mean the latest one, the approach, this one. You can see this approach, this one, right? Let's write down because this is the optimized one, and you have understood as well, I hope. Okay, right? See now, and there exists S. See, I'm writing S, right? It means what? Using the same, I mean kind of join is here, right? S comma C E comma what F, this what belongs to your enroll table, right? And we haven't done, there exist what, we need to include the course as well. There exist CE, because we need to have the same course ID, right? So I will explain once I am done with CE comma, let's say CN. What's that? CN, yeah. What name we have given is CN here. This is wrong. Oh, for example, you can give just I mean any. Yeah, this is one. CN is there. That's fine. And the instructor, with what instructor? That is Nawathe, right? So let me write directly the name here. Fine. And this belongs to what? Course. That's it. See, student, I have taken SNA. That's fine, right? See this part, student, and the output of this one actually, right? You should be doing this one here and one for this one, because the thing is, first when we include the brackets, right, the first this bracket part will be going to execute, right? So probably I have written S here, for example, because this SIDs will be the same exactly, right? So when we write this query in this one, I have just written this S, you have understood, because whatever SIDs that we are going to retrieve after the output probably will be the same from enroll table only, right? So we write the same, there is a link, and we are going to work on the natural join part based on S attribute. Then we have the enroll, in this one enroll table, okay, that's fine, we have written. And in the course, again from enroll and course, we need to have the same course IDs, that is what CE. So CE, that's why here CN is okay, the course name, and this direct fixed value, right? The fixed value that we have used it here, right? So the probably the thing is actually just yeah, that's fine, right? So this is the query. So and we are going to what, reflect N, that is what your student name, right? uh okay, I hope you have understood, right? So what actually I'm going to do now is, so this is the way actually you can, and see always remember when we are doing on DRC, you might be thinking that TRC queries might be more easier, I mean easy to write queries of TRC. When we are doing TRC, you might find like relational algebra was even much better than TRC, right? So that's why the reason is, when you try to formulate the DRC query and you find it difficult, what you can do is first formulate the TRC query for DRC, right? And if you can formulate your TRC, then definitely it will help you a lot to write DRC query, right? So I'm just writing an example for you. Due to time constraint, probably I might not be able to explain over here, but you can just practice for this question, right? I have prepared a lot of question for this one, but due to shortage of time, we won't be able to cover. right? So SIDs, PIDs, and cost. These are the three table, and this is very similar to what we have already, done in as a part of example, right? So we have the supplier parts and catalog part here, right? So you can formulate the query to retrieve S name, S name, supplier's name, who supply some red part, right? So the name of the supplier who supplies some red part over here. So in this case, probably you need the S name as well as the color as well as the catalog. So all three, right? So similar example that we have done recently, right? A more question I'm just giving you, for example, this is just for practice, right? So the thing is, you can just let me know if you face any issue. You find hard, hardly you find some examples probably with solution that explain TRC part. So that's why, just for practice, I'm just giving you some questions over here. You can retrieve SIDs of supplier who supply. You just practice, right? And in case you want the solution just for verification, you can just let me know. I'm gonna share the solution, and probably if we have sufficient time, I'm gonna discuss as well in this live class, right? So you retrieve aside of supplier who supplies some red or say green part, right? But important question that I actually want, at least you should try this one. Retrieve the PID of parts that are supplied by at least, important, at least two different suppliers, right? So try to formulate the TRC queries for this example, right? And you can just let me know if you face any issue. I do have the solutions as well, and in case you want, you can just ask. Yeah, say.
Sir, in the first query,
Yeah.
अगर only red part लिखा हुआ होता और हमें we have to write the DRC of it,
Okay.
then just like in the relational algebra, we use the difference operator, set difference operator, right?
Yeah.
For the only query, if we have to find out something which is only selling red part or something.
Yeah.
So how we will implement it on DRC?
Okay, so for this part, right, who supplies some red part?
That
See,
that is
there is
the
a
some part.
difference.
I am asking for the only red
Only part. You
parts.
see, there is a difference. This is what I'm saying. There is a difference if I say some red part or if I say only red part, right? So in the only case, definitely, as you know, and we have discussed, we have to use set difference operator, right? So we know set difference operator. Okay, that's fine. But the set difference operator is in algebra. And I told you this is what calculus. So as a part of calculus, what we have when we use the set difference, we use and negation. Yes or no? And in the TRC query, don't you just think we are using the and operator? So with the and operator, attach the negation and then continue the same using bracket.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Understood. So for example, for the difference, we have two TRC. Let's say this is first part, this is second part, right? But if you want to write in calculus, then what you will do, formulate the query, write for the first one here, use and negation, and write for the second one over here. That's it, will be your DRC. The method is same because in TRC also I just explained you one question where there was a use of set difference, right? So in the same go, you can just write the query for um, TRC as well. I mean DRC, right? So I
Okay, sir.
hope, yeah, I hope you have understood. So okay, with this one, I mean, I have to say we have just finished this one and DRC as well. Anyhow, we have just finished. I was just expecting to show more questions, but due to lack of time, should we start SQL fundamentals right now? Can we include another 10 minutes? Which subject is your next class you are having?
So we have our MMI class.
Are you going to do that? I mean, if okay, that's fine. Okay, can we take 5 to 10 minutes just for introduction? I mean, the theory part.
Sir, attendance goes on in the first 10 minutes itself.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, it's okay. In the next class, we will start from the fundamental, and I will just try to finish as much I can as a part of SQL, and then we will stick to the the schedule that I have just shared. Probably over the Saturdays, we're gonna have 2 hours class. I will be recording the sessions as well and putting just put over YouTube. You can just take out the benefit as much you can, and the things are very important. As I have already explained you, we're going to be covering all those things which are very important as per your SQL is concerned, right? Okay, so just for today, we have finished our module, the second module, I hope, I guess, right? And other than SQL, yeah, I still forgot. Okay, so thank you all. Let me stop this recording.